Now, Claire does admit that she, one time, wished her son hadn't survived after she was given that news. This is a year on, though, and here she is. Couldn't be happier. Look at him, and he's just adorable. We've all been having a little play and a little hold.
Hello,
haven't we,
Theo.
this morning, Theo.
You're going to high-five Ruth again?
Should we do a high five?
Go on. Let's do
How old is Theo now? How old is he?
Theo is coming up to a year corrected. He was born on the 18th of January by emergency C-section last year, but he was actually due on March the 29th.
Lovely.
Yeah.
Now, your whole experience... He's so funny. Your whole experience... you write this blog, right?
Yes.
What did you write on your blog last night?
OK, so my blog is called mumonadifferentpath.wordpress.com, and I started it very much in the eye of the storm because I wanted to chart how far I would come with my feelings, because I was very devastated at the time, and I knew I wouldn't always feel that way. Last night I wrote on the blog that it was best to be honest, and that's what I've always been, because I know that there's going to be mums after me that will have a diagnosis, and actually more, because there's new tests coming in next year that are 100% accurate, not 85% accurate like they are now.
So had you had the test?
I had the tests that are 85% accurate now. So Theo essentially, for want of a better phrase, slipped through the net. So I didn't know. And actually, when he was born into NICU, they didn't know either.
No.
They only found out through a blood test, because he was actually, despite being born in moderately poor condition, he didn't have a heart defect. So I wrote last night that it's like a rainbow with a colour missing, and then you actually look a little bit closer and you see another colour, and actually that rainbow in the end becomes one of the nicest rainbows you see.
And when, it's so lovely. When did you have that moment? Because you said, you know, you were devastated when you got that diagnosis. What went through your mind? What were you most worried about?
When we got the diagnosis, the context for this was that he'd been in an incubator for 3 weeks. That alone is stressful enough, and I want to thank the Whittington Hospital.
He's so tiny, tiny.
He was born about the size of my hand, and when we first held him, his hand used to be the size of my fingernail. His head was about the size of a tangerine. That is extremely stressful, seeing your baby like that.
And look at you now.
And look at him
away.
now, I know.
Do you want to come and sit over here for a minute?
So what about you and your other half, Andrew? How have you risen to the challenge? Because this is not when you were scared and when you had negative thoughts and you know, about all this, and you went to a dark place about this. This is as much about you and Andrew as it is about Theo, isn't it? Because you thought, can we do this?
Yes. I mean, we'd only been with each other 2 years. Andy was an incredible support, and I always remember he said to me, look, we've got each other, and this is the card that we've been dealt, and we're going to deal with it. I did deal with it slightly differently. It was, you know, I was a first-time mum. I was shocked. I was devastated. I was floored by it. I didn't even know if I could ever be happy again. But as soon as we got him home in April, and I just became a mum to a little baby. And that's what I want to tell everyone, you know, we are just doing the same job as any other mum.
And I think so many people are going to appreciate your honesty, because it's not easy to admit. You know, all mums struggle to admit anything, like I'm not bonding or I'm finding breastfeeding difficult. To actually say, you know, there was a point when I thought I almost wished he hadn't made it through that very traumatic birth.
He likes you, Ruth.
And they're gorgeous.
It was just a flicker of a thought, and, you know, that was just... I was processing what they were telling us. You know, I remember reading, the doctor had notes on his lap, and I remember reading upside down, significant abnormality, and I'm like, what is that? And your life goes from one track to the other, and it's the jump from that to that. That took me a very long time.
And when you say that rainbow moment, was there a particular moment that you had that something you looked at him and just saw something different?
When we got Theo home, it was just a completely different story. It was quite stressful going into the hospital every day. I've also been very lucky with an incredible support from Harrogate Council.
Oh, bless you.
From my boss, Tony, at work. But for me, it's the bedtime routine. It's when he first smiled. It's just being his mum.
Would you have more children, Claire?
Oh, I can't wait.
Yeah?
I think Andy's a bit nervous about that, you know.
But Claire, we've all got to think about this. Theo may be the last generation of Down syndrome because of these tests.
Yes. That does upset me, because I think we're heading into a dangerous world of eugenics, and why should we decide who gets to be born? And I wrote in my last blog piece last night, nobody knows what their baby's going to be like until they are born. And Andy said to me, don't write him off. He's not his diagnosis. And, you can see he's not his diagnosis. If someone had told me a year ago, or if I'd seen someone on television like me, that it's going to be like this, I wouldn't have worried so much. I can tell
Well, I
you
think
that.
you've made a lot of people loving, the idea of motherhood and seeing little Theo there. Thank you, Claire.
Thanks,
Theo.
Thank you,
We
Theo.
hope to see you again.
We've got to go to the weather, Theo. We're going to be back after this. Don't go away.